Hello everyone and welcome to Quality Old Games. Today we are having part 5 of our Western Roman Empire border troops only challenge campaign, and well, the aim of this episode is obviously to win the campaign. We only need to take one additional settlement, but furthermore it has been requested that I test the border troops only against barbarian hordes. And luckily for us, we have some Vandals besieging Salona, so perhaps our border troops will face a nice additional challenge. In the end of the last episode, we learned that you should not auto-resolve with these troops, at least in very hard difficulty. But yeah, let's see how our troops will fare. I think we can capture Kydonia, and that should bring the victory of this campaign. But then let's see how we will fare against those Vandals. Let's hope they will actually continue the siege of Salona. But this far I have to say that the campaign has been surprisingly easy. But let's see if that will continue or not. Okay, I guess they are allowing us to take the gates. So let's oblige. And it seems... oh, so we need to go, yeah, this way and then there.
Soldiers are at the gates! Now they must batter a way through! The enemy gate is down!
And in we go. So I think the Foederati Infantry will form the front line, supported by the Limitanei, and actually I think these guys must be in guard mode. And then let's bring the archers and the general and the cavalry, and yeah, they can move. Oh, and actually the enemy has also archers, if I remember correctly. Well, actually I cannot check that because, well, I have the free camera and that's not the default in campaign, so let's try to be a bit patient here. By the way, this far, by far, the most efficient border troop has been archers. They have been the key unit in most of the battles I have been able to win. So, at least that is a good unit. Even though, in my opinion, Limitanei and Foederati Infantry are just, well, mostly trash. And the enemy archers are about to join the fray, and actually the enemy bodyguard as well. And that may mean some troubles for us. And okay, we have some bodyguards taking the long route. I hope the general is not among them. But if the archers actually want to engage in melee, this... okay, apparently they are not going to engage in melee. I'm not actually sure we want to waste pillar on these archers. Yeah. And you guys can start firing. And you guys are doing something stupid, it seems. Eager to battle. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, and let's hope the Fodedrati Cavalry can do something useful here. Indeed they can. Excellent. So I think the battle will be ours, yeah. Well, that was, I guess, clean enough. And we have a victory. I don't think I will play too kind of earnestly. From this far, the main point is to be able to fight against the Vandals. And let's finish the turn. Of course, we can learn also something if we try to face those Eastern Roman besieging armies. And that defeat there, the auto-resolved one, was rather embarrassing. Well, so much for me not trying to play properly this far. Or rather after this. And in Auxilia, let's actually make a trade. I think that boosts, well, perhaps on the smaller side. I think in Caralis, the extra trade will be rather nice. And perhaps we want to increase our garrison there, just in case of the barbarians come knocking there. And Avaricum, well, I don't know. And I think this battle we can actually auto-resolve.
This land is Roman.
And yeah, I think Arena is a good opening move. And actually, if I were to continue, for example, to take the full map, this army, most of it would go to attack the Saxons. And yeah.
Imperator, move out! Out of move, sir! Sir! Engage the enemy! Out of move, sir! Orders, move out! Out of...
So, are the Vandals going to attack or not? perhaps they will soon. And perhaps the Eastern Romans will attack as well relatively soon. They don't have any actually siege equipment. On the other hand, I don't actually dare to engage them quite just yet. Well, let's see. Okay, so we have our first Vandal battle, and that's quite a bit of warlords. And some other troops. Unfortunately for them, they will need to face large stone walls. So I think they will suffer quite heavy casualties until they can reach the city center. Because we are just going to ruthlessly abuse the game mechanics here. And let the Vandals waste their strength and stamina against the walls and running here and there. And only after that we will engage them here. So basically, and actually now the free camera is rather nice because we can see how our towers are actually hitting them. So basically this is, at least in my opinion, the kind of the most blatant way to abuse the AI of the game. So they have one siege tower to the walls, they will capture the this gateway, and then this army here will circle around and take hit from the towers, and as you can see they have taken already 15% casualties without actually doing anything. So these troops here will be most likely demolished mostly. And now they capture the gateway, or at least soon. And then they will go in. Yeah. And now this army begins to move this side. And as you can see, they don't mind too much taking some arrows from the towers as they are marching next to the city. So I think before we will actually engage the first unit, they have suffered some 30-40% casualties, because actually this gateway here is the best one the enemy can capture, because they need to go past several towers before they can reach an avenue to the city center, and that will mean even more casualties. And Roman towers are really nice because they will shoot also inside the settlement. And as you can see, 40%, so perhaps it will be 60% before they are actually in position to initiate the battle. On this side, they will need to go this far, and when they are starting to head that way, I think this tower at least, and perhaps this one as well, will shoot their backs still. So most likely this unit will be... Okay, it was not wiped. Well, it was wiped out before actually able to do anything. And we have our first enemies entering the city square. You guys are very welcome. We have prepared a warm welcome. Yeah. And as you can see, they are tired, so they will break rather easily. And that's just waste of units mostly. And even the elite infantry will break rather fast. So do we have still something in here? Steppe Lancers, they are going to perish this way, so the only problem will be the bodyguards. And that's going to be it for the enemy. And unfortunately for them, Limitanei and Foederati Infantry both are spearmen. So, 85% casualties, while we have suffered, what, 6%. So, I mean, this battle is pretty much a massacre.
The gods be praised.
And that's it. One army practically completely wiped out.
Fear makes a home in our enemies' hearts.
And now we have the bodyguards coming, the last 10%. And I think they have taken at least some casualties already from the towers. So let's see how they will fare. Okay, and that's it. 2 of the enemy warlords down. That's already quite a blow to the Vandal faction. Of course, they still do have the faction leader that will join the fray. And most likely the faction heir as well. So we can improve the efficiency of our archers by putting them to the flanks, so they can hit a bit harder. And even if we have hit our own peasants, that's rather acceptable because these guys are rather difficult to take down otherwise. And that's one additional warlord going down. So I guess these are the last two remaining enemies. And as you can see, even though this is pretty much the best the Vandals can send against us, our border troops are holding relatively well. Of course, there may become a problem if another Vandal army besieges the settlement straight away. Because we have suffered at least some casualties in this battle. As you can see, about 1/3 of our troops.
Gods be praised! The enemy king now shows his true colors as he runs from the battle.
And that's going to be it. So, 5 warlords, 2 armies, and the battle actually wasn't even close. And that's it.
It is a moment of triumph to savor! Roman arms have crushed the enemy!
And as you can see, well, actually, it seems we cannot see how many of the enemies the towers did kill, but, well, yeah, that was rather nice battle. Let's see if the Vandals were actually wiped out. Okay, so now comes the other seats, but they have only perhaps 1 or 2 family members there, and their strength is quite a bit depleted. I think in this battle we will utilize the terrain. I don't know if you have seen the video where those royal pikemen fought the Spartan hoplites. The Spartans just wrecked them in 1v1 in grasslands, but when the royal pikes had some height advantage or high ground, you know, you have seen Star Wars, high ground is important, then the tables were kind of turned. So high ground in this game is just really useful. You should utilize it whenever possible. And I think we will let the archers once again do the dirty work, mostly. So the other troops will just hold position while the archers are tasked to whittle them down. Because they have mostly peasants and light cavalry, so nothing really that good. Then again, this is perhaps once again a nice test to see how well these border troops do fare in very hard difficulty, but... Oh, did they have actually 1 unit of cataphract camels? Yeah, or rather armored camel mercenaries, so these guys are going to be trouble if they get to face our cavalry. I think we should try to avoid that. Well, it seems the AI is playing it nice and friendly. Let's see if we could actually take down the Equites. Or rather rout them. Before we need to face those camels. Yeah. And we have the peasants and some Foederati Infantry as well. But as you can see, even the morale buff from very hard difficulty just is not enough. for them in this battle. At least this far. And yeah, so I think it's time to use our own cavalry. Okay, well, perhaps I spoke a bit too soon. They're shaken. Okay, good. I think this is it.
The enemy general is killed. Fear makes a home in our enemies' hearts.
And we actually want to chase because we are going to capture their settlement, and every unit taken down in this battle will make
Enemy army is in flight.
the next
Pursue
battle
them
that
and
much
drive them
easier.
from the battlefield.
So let's try to hunt down especially the high value targets. Namely camels, Foederati Infantry, etc. So they will learn to succeed from Rome. It seems I'm feeling a bit bloodthirsty today. But yeah, Bodyguard did quite well. Archers, of course, did rather well. And, well, actually, every unit, because it was mostly peasants we were fighting against. Aha, Avaricum will need some, well, let's say, public order support, and Cordoba as well. So, we are actually moving into the phase in this game that things are becoming a bit more difficult, because the public order will begin to be an issue, at least in some of the settlements, especially in Cordoba. That's really difficult settlement to keep happy. But I think Lepsis Manga will fall relatively soon. Perhaps we could use some additional troops there. And so 6 more turns. I think we want to bring some reinforcements from Constantinople there, so we can train more troops for a couple of turns. They are not building any siege equipment, so it will be a battle between field armies there. And perhaps we could move against Salamis with that army. And despite what I said, I think I will bring this army to face the Saxons at some point. Okay, and now we face the, I think actually full might of the Eastern Empire. So let's see how we or our defenses will fare in Thessalonica. At least stone walls, hopefully large stone walls, but apparently only stone walls, so this might actually get a bit tricky. Fortunately, they need to bypass at least some towers before actually being able to engage our troops, but most definitely this battle is going to be more difficult one. So let's see. They have ladders, so we might lose at least a couple of towers on the walls. It would be nice to burn this siege equipment down, but alas, I think it will reach the walls, so perhaps we will actually lose 2 towers here.
The enemy towers have reached the walls.
And
The
they
gods
have
of Roman courage will win
those
the day.
mercenary veterani are really good units, so oh, there is some bug in here, so these veterani will take some beating.
The ladders have reached the walls, but Roman steel will keep the enemy out.
So perhaps the casualties will be somewhere between 10 to 20%. And as there is this bug, it might actually mean that these guys are not going to take this tower, but the gateway. Let's at least hope so. Yeah.
Look to the inner defenses. The walls have fallen to the enemy. The gods have abandoned us.
And here they come. This tower has actually a rather nice position because, yeah, and we lost 1 tower there. Well, this tower has a nice position because it can fire from the flank of the troops that come this way. And these cavalry units will actually go here. And yeah, I think that should be enough for us. And the infantry or whatever are coming this way. Some of them will go here and actually not take any damage because of that siege tower. And the men crewing it managed to take this tower. And this tower can get some shots off actually before the enemy move in. And all of the enemies should come from our front. Perhaps this flank here might be threatened at some point, but at the moment I think we are doing relatively well, at least regarding the positioning of the enemies. So perhaps 15 to 20% casualties before the battle is really joined. And Peasants Auxilia shouldn't be that good of a unit, so the peasants here will buy at least some time for our archers to dish out damage. And that's actually a lot of cavalry the enemy has here. And actually, we most likely will lose this battle. Because our archers are already... They have used perhaps 1/3 of their arrows. And there is not yet the enemy heavy infantry. At least even 1 unit we have faced. So this battle will be difficult. They have most likely some horse archers somewhere. Hippotoxotai. Well, actually, those guys are running relatively easily now. Where are the Hippotoxotai? Yeah, let's focus on them. And now I think the key is to try to get a surround on these. So when one unit breaks, it might give us the opportunity to actually inflict quite a few additional casualties. They have some Limitanei there. That's good. Let's see if we could rout the first mercenary veteran unit. Okay. Not looking too good at the moment. And there is the bodyguard. And actually quite a tough bodyguard. Besides. Okay, so let's try to rout the Limitanei. Okay, good. Those guys are routing. Now the question is, could we actually take down the enemy general? I doubt that. But if we are able to do that, we might actually get a victory here. Oh. We have some backstabbing enemy units here. Well, despite our most likely loss here, the enemy will suffer some rather significant casualties here. Okay, and the cavalry, they are not routing. At least just yet. And the household bodyguard is taking some damage there as well. Perhaps not quite enough to actually rout them. At least soon, but some casualties nonetheless. Okay, so we have run out of missiles there.
Missiles, attack quickly! Attack quickly!
Well, at times the troops just are not quite enough. But I have to say that inflicting
Truly,
2/3 of casualties was relatively nice. Then again, we do have a gap in our defenses for the moment. So we need to take back that settlement. And now the question is, do we have enough troops in Constantinople to actually take Thessalonica? I doubt that, but at the same time it means that we do need some additional reinforcements in Athens. And, well, yeah, I think this may be a bit too bold of a move. But let's see. So if this Western Roman army, Empire army, comes knocking to the gates of Constantinople, we might be in trouble, but let's hope not quite yet.
Onward! No more moves, sir. Imperator, prepare for battle.
And we can actually afford to starve them out. And I think
Sir,
this army here is replenished enough
march! General, forward!
to move against the Franks once again. Eburacum having some difficulties with public order.
Orders, Imperator. Forward!
Okay, that should do the trick there.
The fleet, sir. Aye, aye, Captain. All ashore. Aye, aye, Captain. Sir, march! Not possible, sir. Onward! Ready to sail! Aye, aye.
And yeah, I think we do have a turn. Let's hope these guys will build their siege equipment rather soon. Okay, so these guys are attacking. That's good, because now I think we can free Marcus the Gambler to reinforce our assault on Thessalonica, and we can use those troops from Constantinople to actually do something useful.
units! On my order!
So now the only question is, can we hold long enough for the reinforcements to actually do something useful?
Gods be praised! The reinforcements are here!
And
Send them
because
to
of the
fight.
positioning
Dishearten
of the
the
troops,
enemy.
it seems that we need to engage the enemy outside the walls.
The enemy have formidable siege towers at the walls. Prepare for some
Then
hard
again,
fighting.
if we can actually put them between
The ladders are
the
reached
walls and
but
our
Roman steel will
troops,
keep the enemy out.
That should help us quite significantly. So that's only, I guess, Equites Auxilia unit. So let's try to hit it first and hit it hard. Yeah, Equites Auxilia. I think actually our Sarmatian Auxilia should be enough to handle it alone, but let's try to minimize the casualties here. And that's going to be just brutal.
The enemy general is running away. This is no way for a leader to... The enemy general is slain, and now his men fear us. It is time
So
to
they are
press the
sending
attack.
one unit of Limitanei to chase our cavalry off. Fair enough. So, I think as for the Eastern Roman Empire, this would be the worst case scenario for capturing a settlement. Being between enemy city walls and an enemy army.
To the inner
And
defenses.
without
The walls have fallen to the
numerical
enemy. The gods have abandoned us.
superiority.
Barbarian Cavalry.
So now they have the gates at the very least. Which of course will give us some problems. We need to take the gates back practically. Of course that will mean that the enemy is not going to get out of the settlement. So perhaps we will just use the cavalry to reinforce our positions inside the settlement. And, well, yeah, why not to use these troops as well? So, the enemy has lost their general and they have taken about 50% casualties already. And that's it for these guys. Are there still some units that have a bit of fight left in them? admit that this charge was not quite what I was looking for. Oh. So the exhausted comitatenses didn't have that much fight left in them. So they still have 3 infantry units most likely. Okay, 2. This one is running for their lives. But I guess these guys are already exhausted, even though they are comitatenses. Well, that's Limitanei. Not looking too good for them.
The enemy show their true virtue. They are not soldiers, only frightened rabbits running from our
And
men.
that's it. I think... Well, there is someone still running somewhere. But I think we can quit the battle. Okay. So, are there Christian settlements actually? Yeah. So the Christian settlements actually are going to be problematic in terms of public order now, most likely. And in Ravenna, I don't think we actually want to build anything. We have a bit of shortage on the money as it is. I guess the corruption here is rather on high level. So any increased lawfulness is quite good. Okay, so basically the fleet has a new task in here.
Fleet ready. Aye, aye, Captain.
We need to bring this army to this side of the sea once again. And yeah, that trade most certainly will be quite beneficial. And what about the Vandals? They have built some siege equipment, that's nice. And some additional peasants will be needed.
Imperator. Engage the enemy.
Okay. Well, let's fight them.
Friends.
And I think the next attack of the Vandals will be pretty much the final battle of this campaign.
The ferryman will be busy today. The enemy have brought more men to the fight.
Hurry! Hurry! Units! Units! Hurry! Hurry!
And once again, it's the job of these guys just to hold the line, while the archers do the damage dealing. Okay. Well, at least we will get that one army wiped out.
The enemy show their true virtue. They are not soldiers, only frightened rabbits running from our men.
You guys should fire the pillar first.
The enemy show their true virtue. They are not soldiers, only frightened
Well, I guess some redemption for whatever this general's name is. Nero Flavius.
Engage the enemy. Besieging settlements, sir.
And here...
General, sir. Onward. Joining the fleet, sir.
let's head towards Salamis.
Sail. Out of...
Okay, perhaps not the wisest course of action.
Sir, to the ships. Set sail.
Perhaps we can even increase taxes a bit.
Orders. Ready to sail. Yes, Captain.
Whoops. Well, is that actually... that's by ream. So we will just attack.
Victory! Yes, Captain. Moves depleted, sir. General, onward.
And now the question is
Fleet ready.
how to actually get those troops across. And yeah, next turn we have that army ready. And let's finish the turn. How actually long Salona can hold out? 5 turns. I think these guys should make their move rather soon. Well, perhaps, yeah, well, we can retrain those guys, but otherwise I don't think those stables are actually that good. Extra mining income is welcome. And now we are actually in position to bring the troops across, and from Constantinople let's actually retrain the troops we want to join the fray next turn. And this army here is ready to move forwards.
Sail. Disembark. Orders. Forward. Out of
Perhaps we
move, sir.
could even reinforce the army a bit. And I'm just hoping the Vandals would actually make their move there. Yeah, okay, so basically this is the final battle of this series, and once again we will test whether the border troops only can fare against barbarian hordes. So basically, if we win, we can retrain all the remaining troops and begin to train new ones. Of course, if we lose, well, then we lose. But once again, the towers should be a rather significant help for us in here. At least at the moment, I'm confident that we are actually in position to win the battle in here. So let's see how the enemy will fare. 1 siege tower, 1 battering ram. 1 siege tower, 1 battering ram. By the way, it's interesting that if there are multiple enemy armies besieging a settlement, each one of them will actually get... Oh, this is just great. If this can actually break the gates, and the other... Well, okay, not so great after all. Well, I guess it's the optimal situation if the gates are broken down, and none of the siege towers can reach the walls, then the enemy will actually take casualties also from the boiling oil as they are marching underneath the gateway. But alas, that's not going to be the case, at least in here. So this is where they come in, and they should take at least some casualties before being able to reach the city center. So the casualties are starting to pile up, and let's see if it will be enough. So the enemy warlords are moving in as well, and this is kind of, well, an alley of death, I guess. So crossfire from 2 towers and so on. They've taken about 50% casualties. That's nice. Now the main question is how well those warlords will fare. Well, at least this one is taking nice beating here. But yeah, I guess the rest falls to our troops. And we have actually Warlord leading the attack. And we actually want to take that one down as fast as possible. What? I mean, that was a mistake. That was a bad mistake. Actually, may have lost us the battle. Well, it seems that with a blunder, the border troops are not quite enough to deal with the enemies here.
Your general has thrown away his life, and now he feeds the carrion birds. His men may soon be bird food too.
Well, too bad. Well, actually, it might be that I would have lost the battle no matter what. At the same time, if the other enemy armies had come before the warlords in, I think we might have stood a chance here, but yeah, that was a defeat, no arguing about that. Some comitatencies perhaps might have made the difference, but I'm not fully sure about that.
Aye, Captain. Yes, Captain. All ashore. Orders. Attack. No more moves.
Londinium, okay, plague. Londinium is growing, Salamantica, earthquake, and yeah. Let's see.
Ready to sail. Yes, Captain.
Whoops.
Prepare for battle. Rope your line.
So much for that. So, let's see about the map. So, is it actually so that the Vandals did not settle in here? Okay, so we could retake this. And the Vandals are not too much of a threat, at least at the moment. The Huns are still coming, and might mean that the Lombard Roxolani would be coming rather soon as well. Eastern Rome, I'm not sure in what kind of position they are. They might be able to cause trouble in the east, but in the west, I think their strength is pretty much depleted. So with troops from Constantinople, with this navy, some additional troops from Athens, we would have been able to take Sirmium and Thessalonica relatively easily, and as well as to retake Salona, and it's a nice bastion against barbarian hordes. For the moment, okay, so we would have had Goth hordes coming rather soon, unless of course the family members dies, but I think that's not the case, and soon we would have some Sarmatian hordes here as well. I think I would have been able to beat Saxons relatively easily with these two armies. The rebellion here would have been quenched in, well, next turn. And perhaps some more emphasis in troop training. We could have sent armies from Italy to reinforce this region. So I think, and of course these armies from the south here should have been able to take Kyrene rather easily, and Alexandria as well, and then we would have been in position to threaten Jerusalem, Sidon, Philadelphia, Petra, and I think Salamis most likely would have fallen to, well, not perhaps necessarily, but it's possible that Salamis would have fallen to this army. So overall, despite this, let's say, annoying loss of Salona here in the last battle, I would argue that even in prolonged campaign with border troops only, the Western Roman Empire can be triumphant, and that would not be, at the very least, much more difficult than with all troops at one's disposal. So, yeah, I think this is doable relatively easily. But I think this is everything for today. About the next campaign, I'm not sure. I have some suggestions, perhaps I will pick from those. Then I'm planning on doing kind of mod of the month, perhaps even for April. So you guys can pick one mod, and most of the content, the campaign plays, versus battles, unit tests will be related to that mod for 1 month, and perhaps that will mean about, say, 40 videos about that mod, and at the end of the month I will post a review about that mod, or what I think about it, how I find it. But let's see if I can manage that. I will ask for you to select the mod from a shortlist, and of course those versus battles will need that Anka will be able to run the mod as well. But that's the plan, at least at the moment. But in any case, thank you very much for watching. If you like the content, please leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Feel free to post comments, give advice, ask questions and so on. Have a great rest of the day. Quality Old Games out.